parents, others a biblical figure. But for a chosen few, their name can mean a lifetime of bad jokes or worse. The faces may look the same, but the names have definitely changed.
Hi, my name is what?
From Apple to Rumor to Brooklyn, Hollywood's leading couples are leading the way when it comes to bizarre baby names.
Apple, Cocoa, Mocha. I mean, are we naming our children or are we opening a coffee shop?
According to celebrity blogs, daddy-to-be Matthew McConaughey wants to name his baby Bud in honor of, you guessed it, his favorite beer. Other Hollywood baby standouts, Moxie crime fighter, pilot inspector, even audio science.
Say my name, say my name.
So whatever happened to Peter, Paul, and Mary? Many parents today are daring to be different.
My husband chose Jackson after he went to a Jackson Pollock exhibit.
Well, Lexi's mom and I wanted to pick a name that was somewhat global.
We didn't want a name that was extremely common.
Hey baby, hey baby, hey.
But before you make your child's lifelong name a life sentence, think it through.
When you meet people, introduce yourself using your child's new potential name. See how people react.
Hey baby, hey baby, hey.
And Michael Sherritt of Ancestry.com is the co-author of the book Bad Baby Names. Michael, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Where'd you find the names now?
Well, we went on Ancestry.com's census database, and we searched for names based on categories like the 7 deadly sins, sandwich fixings, whatever, and we verified the names against the actual census record.
And I think of kind of crazy names as a current phenomenon, but not at all. These date back years and years and years.
Yeah, these go back to 1790 up to 1930, so it's been a long time people have been naming their babies something unusual.
Let's take a look at some of these categories, beginning with one you mentioned, kids named after the 7 deadly sins. These names are bizarre. You have Lust Garden, Greed Sister Mancini, Sloth Washington, Wrath Gordon, Envy Burger, Pride Saint. Why would anybody name their kid after a sin?
Well, biblical names are very, very, very popular through all decades, all years. And the 7 deadly sins are in the Bible, as are the virtues. So a lot of people name them. And these names are not unique. For instance, we found 149 lusts, 70 greeds, 12 sloths, 24 wraths.
Any gluttonies?
No gluttonies, unusual. We have a theory about that.
Yeah, why would you think?
Well, we believe that gluttony was just a little too heavy with too many syllables. All the other sins have 1 or 2. Gluttony has 3.
And you also have a category, Mary, Mary, where it appears to you that people who fall into this category, the parents wanted to have fun. That's why they did it.
Well, we can't think of any other explanation because kids with the name Mary and A as an initial, there were some pretty unusual names.
As in marry a jerk, marry a belcher, marry a killer, marry a dog, marry a fool.
Exactly. And, what's interesting about that is half of these names were men's names. From 1900 to
Mary was a male name?
Mary was a male name. Actually, more Marys than Larrys from 1900 to 1909.
And by the same token, you have the I'm, same thing, sort of to have fun. That's why they picked the name. But another category that surprised me is a group called Back to School. Very strange names. I know as a writer you love this particular category. Tell me about some of the names you found.
Well, you got to love somebody who's named after a punctuation mark or a figure of speech. So people named comma vowels,
semicolon
wrote. There was only 1 semicolon. There were lots of colons, 5,000 plus colons, lots of sentences, articles, subjects. Great name.
In researching this book that you found that there were adults who had survived names like, these are real names, Candy Store, Cash Guy, Merry Christmas, even Happy Day, all of whom are pretty well adjusted. They said, yeah, I got a little teasing here and there, but ultimately, I like my name. Are you surprised by that?
Well, we were initially, because they endured a lot of bullies, a couple of wedgies on the playground, that sort of thing when they were little. But as they grew older, they really came to appreciate their name because it set them apart, gave them an individuality that a lot of other people did not have, and they felt like gave them a sense of, people remembered who they were.
And finally, you have a category that hits home with us here today. It's called America's First Family. You absolutely find people with the name Vieira Clinton, Lauer Giuliani, Curry McCain, Roker Ono.
Isn't that a great name?
That's the best.
That's a great name. It's in honor of the stars of the show and the political season. We felt we could find a few that combine the best of both.
You know what? I feel like my name is now so boring, Michael. Don't you after this?
Yeah, Michael's a pretty boring name.
Michael Stern, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after